This lesson, Advanced Data Aggregations, is going to give us an opportunity to go back into SQL, see some of the advanced options that are available to us for further aggregating our data, as well as go back and touch on a couple of things that we just haven't yet talked about. For starters, let's take a look at a feature that was introduced with SQL 2005 called a Common Table Expression, or a CTE. One of the things that you've no doubt seen up to now is the fact that our queries can wind up being rather complex. I might be joining together multiple tables, having a handful of different aggregates, grouping that data together, and as a result, my queries can wind up being rather difficult to read. This is where CTEs come into play. A CTE is a lot like a temporary table, table variable, or, as I like to call it, an inline view. Views are essentially SQL statements, select statements to be particular, that are wrapped up and designed to behave a lot like a table. So I can actually select from a view, order by, do groupings, things like that, basically treat it just like a table. Well, CTEs basically allow me to do the exact same thing. So we can use a CTE to help break down a complex query, help avoid subqueries, or just simplify certain syntax. What I'm going to do is open up the Management Studio, open up a new query window, connect to AdventureWorks, and then punch out the following query. Let's say select SOH, we should be familiar with this now, and let's say total due, and I'm going to put a sum around that as, let's say total sold. Let's go ahead and say year, SOH order date as order year. Now we're going to talk about the year function a bit later, but in a nutshell, it's going to give us back the order year. And then finally, let's go ahead and grab st name as territory name. And then let's do our from statement. So we'll say from sales order header, SOH, inner join, sales territory, st on, SOH, territory ID equals st, territory ID. And let's not forget our group by. So we'll say group by, year, SOH, order date, and then st name. And sure enough, if we run this, we get exactly what we would expect, which is going to be our total sold, our order year, and our territory name. Cool. Or in other words, this is a basic select statement. I guess it's a quasi-complex select statement. Got a little group by, a little aggregate going on there. But at the end of the day, it's just a select statement. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this into a CTE. I do this by getting rid of the closing semicolon. Just a little bit of formatting here. We'll just tab on in. And then I'm going to say with. Now, after with comes the name of the table that I want. In my case, let's call this sales data. Now, what I could do is I could list the column if I so desired afterwards. So if I wanted to say total sold, order year, and territory name, I could do that right there. Now, if you don't list off the columns, it'll automatically pull the column names from your select statement. We then say as, open up parens, close parens. And now we basically have a brand new table that's available to us called sales data. And we can use this like we would any other normal table. So I could say select everything from sales data. And you'll notice that when I run this, I get the exact same results. Now, of course, the question then becomes, all right, well, how are we going to use this? Well, we'll see that in a couple of upcoming demos. To review the syntax for our CTE, looks a little like that. You'll notice again, we've got our with, and then whatever name it is that we want to give it. Optionally, we can provide the names of the columns. If we don't, again, it's going to pull whatever it is from the select statement. As, and then our normal select statement, and from there on forward, our CTE can be used as a table. Why use CTEs? Well, the biggest reason to use CTEs, again, is to try and break down some complex logic.